How is it going? I hope you're doing just as good as I'm doing today. Because, man, roller coaster of emotions today. Absolute roller coaster. Where to begin? Today started with a very rough start, hearing a lot of bad news with some family members. Just stuff that kind of hit a little too close to home than I would have liked it to. And I feel like today was one of those days when a lot of small negative things piled up all at once. I'm saying it all the time. It just piles up over and over and over, and then eventually it just explodes because you haven't gotten to talk about it or you haven't gotten to acknowledge it yet. And then it just leads to the day being a lot worse than it needs to be. And to my, not even to my surprise, it's one of those things where I got to the gym and I knew that staying consistent and trying to maintain my passion and my lifts and all that would make me feel better. But man, it has been a long time since I got to the gym and just wanted to go home. It's been nearly 2 years, other than a family trip that was on the side of a snow mountain and a time where I was super brutally sick. I don't miss days. I have not missed a single program day in almost 2 years. And I'm very prideful of that. But more important than my pride is it's what drives my passion. It's what keeps me consistent and disciplined. And quitting that in the moment is such a fucking waste when it's because outside stressors that you can fix, not even that you can fix, that you can understand are not the end of the world, But before I get ahead of myself, physically, I am feeling I'm going to give it a very, very solid 9.4. It was actually 9.425. Why not? It was the physical effort that I needed. It really got to bring me around a bit after having such a shitty day. And it was really, really nice that having you got to always look on the more positive side because you can come up with just as many positives as there are negatives. And thankfully, yesterday was my rest day. So I got to go to the gym fully recovered and I felt great. I'm still working on the volume, the highest volume and the lowest percentages in the first part of the block. And it's doing its magic. I felt really, really good. My form felt really, really good. And more importantly, I was uplifted today. I'm always preaching to you guys how spreading that level of just straight up raw positivity in the moment can just make someone's fucking day. I'll tell you now, it can make someone's day. And, a lot of times, I try to give advice based off my own personal experiences and, go off about what's most positive. But there are always going to be days where I can't handle my own shit. I literally just talked about this the other day where you can only take on so much yourself, and today was one of those days. So, getting into the gym, mentally I would have told you, honestly, I would have told you it was probably the lowest score I've ever had. I probably would have given it a 4.8 getting in there because it was one thing after the other. And I shit you not, this is the first time in years where I actually felt like leaving the gym. And I feel like the last time I did that was the first year I got consistent with Olympic weightlifting. And it was because I was so upset at myself for not making the progress that I wanted to. And in that moment, after leaving the gym that day so many years ago, I learned that quitting in that such a crucial moment just destroys your progress. Not when it comes to the weights, when it comes to your passion, intensity, and consistency, that discipline. So it was after, going through the whole gym process, having very amazing homie time. I had literally had random people come up to me today saying, man, you're strong as fuck, dude. You're doing really well. Be proud of yourself. And I'm like, no. It was the boost I needed in the most crucial moment, So mentally, after the fact, because I like to give these scores after the gym because this is when I'm at my most passionate This is when I know how the days turned out. I can give it a very solid 8.6. I don't want to go toward 9 just because I know that because of how rough it was going through everything all at once, it took me down a bit. It could have been a lot peppier of a day, But more importantly, just what I kind of wanted to really emphasize is the fact that if you give up in that moment where you feel like quitting the most, that is going to be what determines your level of output, or your output of effort. Sorry. It's so integral that you stay committed during that dog shit day where you feel like the world's against you, nothing's going right, so many things are happening at once that you can't think about it logically and understand that. Take it one step at a time. It's not a big deal. It's just one of those horrible, awful days. But pushing through and remaining diligent, not just for the sake of the consistency alone, but for your own sake, is what makes you the best version of you. The most successful people on this planet, and I don't just mean when it comes to monetary value and the materialistic stuff, the most successful when it comes to how happy and stable a life you live are the people who can push through these awful, horrible, fucked up days and walk out of whatever you're doing, regardless of it being the gym or some other passion in your life, with a fucking mindset that will drive you to the next step that you need to get to. I've been putting off for months getting this job that I've been super excited for, that could be my next step in the way that could last my whole lifehood, my entire livelihood, And I was talking to a good homie today about it, about how I've been just stressed out. I heard bad family news. I got a wedding I got to go to tomorrow, so I will be at the gym at like 9 a.m., and I hate that. I'm just going to be tired. It's going to be a lot. I got to figure out where to go to a dentist soon. I got to figure out a lot of stuff. And then when I got to the gym, people I've had some beef with more recently started just blowing me up. And being irrational in the moment rather than taking it with a grain of salt, like I always fucking say, and just turning my phone off, I decided to respond and be like, well, what the hell, and I just, even though it was not my fault that whatever beef happened today started, I was the one who continued it. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, but in the heat of the moment, I responded, and I put myself in, I put myself at risk for having a negative interaction, and you really need to recognize that when you get into some beef with people like that, or you just aren't agreeing with certain people in certain ways, sometimes the best thing you can do is take a step back. I tell people a lot, go take a walk, go sleep on it. Come back when you've got your head on straight, because right in that most emotional, irrational moment, right when whatever happens, you will not be able to respond the way that you would want to, realistically. You will go to sleep and you will look back and you'll be like, damn, could have gone a lot more positively every time. And so, although I will never say I regret my actions, it is what it is. I got to take it as a step forward for myself. I won't be doing that again. I got to give myself credit where credit's due and remind myself that this most important of a day where I really shined and pushed through, and not only did I put in as much effort as I could in the lifts, my form, my core, but I kept my mental as high as fucking possible. That is what is so goddamn important. So I really mean it. It's when you decide to let life get to you and give up in that moment. Sure, you could be like, you know what, I need to take today off. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll be fine. Something that people do not realize enough is that the future does not exist. And that may sound stupid because the idea of the future exists, But there is no tangible thing in this world that is the future. There just isn't. And so anytime you're sitting there convincing yourself, because it's not a fact, it is just you convincing yourself and giving yourself that leverage to give up in the moment, that is just you banking on something that does not exist. The only thing that actually truly exists is right now. So sure, you can have off days, I get it, and you can go home and you can come back and maybe it won't affect you. But in the long term, that type of fucking mentality will always come back to hit you twice as hard the next time it happens. Because I'll tell you now, because I pushed through today, if this shit ever happens again, I'm putting my phone on fucking silent and I am lifting with every bit of passion in my fucking heart. You know, I'm gonna use that negativity in my life as fucking just straight rocket fuel to absolutely blow the shit out of these lifts and just do better for myself. That's my point. You know, so I get it. I'm not saying that you should be ashamed that you maybe gave up in the moment or didn't put in the effort that you wanted to. Never feel shame, but look at it as your next step forward. Be like, okay, it's already happened. The past is now in the past. You know, don't let yourself live with that regret, because that will take you down. You know, just say, okay, let's look at the facts. I gave up. And that sucks. And, let's get mad for a minute. But once you've got the emotion out, once you got all the irrational feelings out, and you got your head on straight, look at those facts and tell yourself, okay, I can either sit here and wallow in my quote-unquote mistake, or I can make the situation that I had a positive one and turn that quote-unquote mistake into the best thing that could have happened to me, and make myself the positive person that I want to be and do better next time. And again, when I say telling yourself to do better next time, I don't mean banking on it. I mean swearing on it. You know, it's not a matter of like, oh, hopefully I do better next time. You will do better next time. That is the mindset. Again, it's okay if you don't. It's okay if you fail. It's okay if shit doesn't go the way you wanted it to and you fuck up and whatever. But if you go into whatever passion you have in your life thinking that there's even a shred of a possibility that you will fail, then yeah, you're gonna fucking fail. You're the one who thought it up. But if you go in the gym, even if you feel like shit, even if things are happening to you that are not fair, you can either take that shit with a grain of salt or you can wallow. And like I always say, take this shit with a grain of salt. It's just my own experience. But we all know that we've been through something like this. And so pushing past that is what's going to show you and prove to you that you have it in you. I said you a lot right there, my bad. But I seriously mean it. You do not realize how much potential is actually inside of you because you have constantly possibly lived with the mentality that whenever shit gets tough, that it is okay to fail. It is never okay to fail. It's okay to miss a lift. It's okay to not do as good as you wanted to. But to tell yourself that you failed is just like telling yourself that because you got a B, you basically got a 0. You might as well have just not turned in the test. It's like, what a piss-ass mindset, you know? Just, again, not for the sake of social standards. Do it for yourself, you know? When I say be better, I don't just mean like, oh, get over it, move on. Embrace that shit, you know? Turn it into something that can be your own. And again, like I said, convert that negativity into fuel for your passion. Because that's all it's good for. Negativity will only hit you as hard as you allow it to. So rather than letting it hit you hard in a way that drags you down, let it hit you hard in the way where you come back blazing harder than ever. But anyway, that's all I got. I know I went off a little bit like that, but man, I was pissed off today. And I really wanted to go home, but I am really glad I stuck through it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out and seeing what I got to say. But that's all I got. You know, as busy as I'll be tomorrow, you're damn fucking right I'm going to be in the gym. And I'm going to make everything work out. I don't care if there's a possibility that I fuck up. I'm going to put in my best effort, put in my best foot forward, you know. So I'll be back tomorrow. I got squats and snatches. So It'll be a bit of a rough day for the core, but it'll probably be better than I imagine it to be, you know? But regardless of what I imagine, what's realistic is that I know I can give 100%, so I will give 100%. That's all I mean. So stick around. Let me know how the lifts are going. And I appreciate anyone sticking around for the video. So I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.